Chapter 1, Chemical Reactions and Equations. Consider the following situation of daily life and think what happens. When milk is left at room temperature during summers, an iron tawa nail is left exposed to humid atmosphere, grapes get fermented, food is cooked, food gets digested in our body, we respire. In all the above situations, the nature and the identity of the initial substance have somewhat changed. We have already learned about physical and chemical changes of matter in our previous classes. Whenever a chemical change occurs, we can say that a chemical reaction has taken place. You may perhaps be wondering as to what is actually meant by a chemical reaction. How do we come to know that a chemical reaction has taken place? Let us perform some activities to find the answer to this question. So guys, in this page, we will merely study about the different changes occurring around us. Okay, in our daily life we observe different type of changes, and these are two types of changes. First is physical change and the second is chemical change. In physical change, you have studied these two changes in previous classes. In physical changes, no any new substance is formed, melting of ice, lightening of bulb, sublimation of iodine, tearing of paper. These are the physical changes. Okay. Now, what comes in chemical changes? In chemical changes, these key points in pink color, that are the milk is left at room temperature during summers, an iron tawa pan nail is left exposed to humid atmosphere, then it gets rusted, and grapes get fermented, food is cooked, food gets digested in our body, we respire, photosynthesis, and means these are the example of chemical changes. And in this chapter we will merely read about these chemical changes, and these changes are termed as chemical reaction. Okay, so guys, what does this activity tell us about? In this activity, a magnesium ribbon is taken. Now guys, what does this activity tell us about? In this activity, an element or a metal, that is magnesium, a magnesium ribbon is taken and it is burnt in presence of air. We will see, when magnesium ribbon is burnt, then its ashes is taken, stored on a watch glass, and these ashes are magnesium dioxide. Okay, magnesium oxide, sorry, its magnesium oxide is formed. Okay, so guys, you have observed that magnesium ribbon burns with a dazzling white flame and changes into a white powder. This powder is magnesium oxide. It is formed due to the reaction between magnesium and oxygen present in the air. Okay. Now some more activities are taken here. Activity 1.2 about and activity 1.3, reaction of zinc granules with sulfuric acid. You can see in this figure that zinc granules are taken and dilute sulfuric acid is taken in a conical flask, and H2 gas is liberated with, with the use of cork, airtight cork, so that air cannot pass into it. Okay, from the above three activities you can observe these changes occurring. Means these are the changes which occur in a chemical reaction: the change in state, change in color, evolution of a gas, change in temperature. Okay, we will see a large variety of chemical changes, which is termed as chemical reaction, taking place around us. Okay, now we will study about the various types of chemical reactions and their symbolic representation in this chapter. And this symbolic representation is known as chemical equation. Okay, so let us turn to chemical equation. Activity 1.1 can be described as when a magnesium ribbon is burnt in oxygen, it gets converted to magnesium oxide. You observed. This description of a chemical reaction in a sentence form is written in a shorter form. The simplest way to do this is to write in the form of a word equation. Okay, so the word equation for the above reaction would be magnesium plus oxygen. These are reactants, and it forms magnesium oxide, that is product. Okay, reactants are written on the left hand side and products are written on the right hand side. The substance that undergo chemical changes in the reaction 1.1, magnesium and oxygen are the reactants. The new substance magnesium oxide formed during the reaction is the product. Okay, so you can obviously watch it. You have observed it in the video that the magnesium reacts with oxygen, and to write it in a word equation form, it is shown here in blue color, that is magnesium plus oxygen forms magnesium oxide. This is word equation representation of a chemical equation. Understood? A word equation shows changes of reactants to products through an arrow placed between them. Okay, the reactants are written in the left hand side with a plus sign between them. Similarly, products are written on the right hand side with the plus sign between them. If more than one products are formed, then plus sign are used on product side, that is right hand side. The arrowhead points towards the products. So what do you mean by arrowhead? This is the arrowhead. This is the arrowhead is towards the magnesium oxide, that is product. Okay, and shows the direction of this reaction. So guys, at the last page we saw the representation of a chemical reaction in the form of word equation. Now here we will see the representation of chemical reaction in the form of chemical equation. So this is the chemical equation. So let us read. Writing a chemical equation. Is there any other shorter way for representing chemical equation? Chemical equation can be made more concise and useful if we use chemical formula instead of words. Okay, a chemical equation represents a chemical reaction. You recall formula of magnesium, oxygen and magnesium oxide. The above word equation can be written as Mg plus O2, arrowhead towards MgO. Okay, this is the formula of the chemical reaction. Mg stands for magnesium, O2 stands for oxygen, MgO stands for magnesium oxide. Count and compare the number of atoms of each element on the LHS and RHS of the arrow. Is the number of atoms of each element the same on both the sides? If not, then the equation is unbalanced because the mass is not the same on both sides of the equation. Such a chemical equation is a skeletal chemical equation for a reaction. Skeletal chemical reaction means, before going to skeletal chemical reaction, guys, firstly we recall the above paragraph. The above paragraph is an indication of the chemical formula for a chemical reaction. Mg plus O2 forms MgO is the chemical formula, formulatic representation of a chemical reaction. Now let's come about the skeletal chemical reaction. Skeletal chemical equation. It is an unbalanced chemical reaction. Okay, when a chemical reaction in the form of a chemical equation is represented such as the number of molecules on the left hand side is not equal to the number of molecules or atoms on right hand side, then it is not termed as a skeletal chemical equation. Okay, for example, you can see here that Mg plus O2 forms MgO. The number of molecules of magnesium on reactant side is 1 and that on the product side is also 1, but the number of atoms of oxygen on left hand side is 2 and on right hand side it is 1. So the molecules of oxygen or the atoms of oxygen on both the sides are not balanced. So this is known as a skeletal chemical equation. A skeletal chemical equation, or you can say unbalanced chemical equation. Okay, the mass of the molecules on both the sides are not balanced. Such a chemical equation is a skeletal chemical equation for a reaction. Equation 1 2 is a skeletal chemical equation for the burning of magnesium in air. So then what is the balanced chemical equation? You are known about the unbalanced chemical equation. Okay, you can also take another examples of unbalanced chemical equation. For example, H2 plus O2 forms H2O. H2O, here oxygen 1 atom and on left hand side oxygen is 2 atom. Also you can take an example like N2 plus H2 forms NH3 ammonia. Also one more example, that is H2 plus Cl2 forms HCl. Means these are the skeletal chemical equation. Now, what is the balanced chemical equation? Recall the law of conservation of mass. You have studied in standard 9. How many of you remember that law? Let it go. Law of conservation of mass. What does it say? If not remember, then let us reread it in this paragraph. It is obviously written here that mass can neither be created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. That is, the total mass of the elements present in the product of a chemical reaction has to be equal to the total mass of the elements present in the reactants. Okay, understood? The total mass must be balanced on both the sides. LHS equal to RHS. And when will the mass will be equal to on both the sides? When the number of molecules will be equal on both the sides. When the number of atoms will be equal on both the sides. You have studied in standard 9. Okay. In other words, second paragraph. In other words, the number of atoms of each element remains the same before and after a chemical reaction. Hence, we need to balance a skeletal chemical equation. In exams, you are given a skeletal chemical equation and you have to convert it into balanced chemical equations. Okay. So let us learn about balancing a chemical equation step by step. The word equation for activity 1.3 may be represented as zinc plus sulfuric acid forms zinc sulfate plus hydrogen. The above word equation may be represented by the following chemical equation. Zn plus H2SO4 forms ZnSO4 plus H2. Here, how many of you are observing in this chemical formula that Zn is the number of molecules of zinc on both the side balanced? Don't know. Number of molecules on both the sides are balanced. That is, zinc on left hand side is one molecule and on right hand side is also one molecule of zinc. Again, we are observing about H2SO4. H2SO4 on left hand side, that is on the reactant side, hydrogen, two atoms of hydrogen, and also on right hand side there is two atoms of hydrogen. One atom of sulfur on LHS, also 1 atom of sulfur on RHS. 4 atom of oxygen on LHS and 4 atom of oxygen on RHS. Means each and every element on both the sides, RHS and LHS, that is on the reactant side and product side, are balanced. So we can say that this is a balanced chemical equation. Okay, Zn plus H2SO4 forms ZnSO4 plus H2 is a balanced chemical equation. Let us examine the number of atoms of different elements on both sides of the arrow. Okay. So guys, now we are going to learn how to balance the chemical equation. Okay. Taken an example of a chemical equation, that is Fe2O3 plus Al. It forms Fe plus Al2O3. Now, if the number of elements on LHS are Fe, iron, oxygen and aluminium, and the number of elements on RHS are Fe, iron, oxygen and aluminium. Both sides must be now same number of elements. Now, the number of atoms of the elements, that is iron, is 2 on LHS, that is 2. And now the number of atoms of iron is 1. Here only 1 atom of iron, that's so written 1 on RHS. Number of atoms of oxygen on LHS is 3. LHS 3. And that of the number of atoms of oxygen on RHS is 3. Number of atoms of aluminium on LHS is 1, and the number of atoms of aluminium on RHS is 2. Are they balanced? No. Iron 2, 1, 3, 3, oxygen balanced, aluminium 1, 2, not balanced. Let's start from iron. Okay. So here 2 atoms of iron. Let's write 2. We had studied in the chapter that we have to make boxes of the elements, and I had told you that why do we make boxes? Because we cannot write anything or any number on the suffix of the elements. These are the suffix. We cannot add any number at the suffix. Okay, we can add at the prefix, that is coefficient. We can add any number is the coefficient of the element or compounds. 2 is added, iron is balanced. Okay. Now oxygen, 3 atoms on LHS, 3 atoms on RHS. Aluminium is 1, here 2. It has to be multiplied by 2. Okay, so 2 aluminium 2, oxygen 3, and iron 2, balanced. It is balanced chemical equation. Understood? Now take another example. This is C3H8 plus O2. It forms CO2 plus H2O. Okay. Now writing the LHS and RHS. LHS, the elements are carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. RHS, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. Okay. When you are writing the elements would be similar on the arrow side. Okay. The elements must be on the same side of LHS and RHS. Now, what is the number of atom of carbon on LHS? It is 3. Hydrogen 8. Oxygen 2. Here carbon 1. Okay. Hydrogen, it is 1, and hydrogen 2. Oxygen 2 oxygen and 1 oxygen, total 3 oxygen. So we have to write 3 oxygen. Okay. Now the number of carbon is 3. Here it is 1. So we have to multiply this carbon with 3. Okay. So we have 3 as a coefficient. Now hydrogen, this side hydrogen is 8, hydrogen 2, LHS 8 atom of hydrogen, RHS 2 atom of hydrogen. So we have to multiply 2 into 4, then it will become 8. Okay, so we have added 4. Now 4 into H2, 8 hydrogen, 4 also will be multiplied with oxygen atom, and here 4 oxygen atom. Coefficient is multiply of each element of the compound. 4 oxygen and 3 into 2, total 6 oxygen. Here 2 is the 2 atoms of oxygen and 3 is the coefficient. 3 is multiplied with the 2 and total becomes 6. 3 into 2 is equal to 6 oxygen. Oxygen has 2 atoms here. So 6 oxygen atom and 4 oxygen atom, total 10 oxygen atom. It is 10. On RHS the number of atoms of oxygen is 10 and on LHS it is 2, only 2 oxygen. So we have to multiply this oxygen with 5. 5 will taken as a coefficient. Now it has become 10. 10 oxygen atom, 10 oxygen atom, 8 hydrogen atom, 8 hydrogen atom, 3 carbon atom and 3 carbon atom. So this reaction is balanced. Okay. Now take one more example. Okay, that is MnO2 manganese oxide plus HCl hydrochloric acid. It forms MnCl2 plus H2O plus Cl2. Okay, this this is reactant and the reactant is LHS. The product is RHS. Okay, now we have to write the number of elements on LHS, that is manganese, Mn, oxygen, hydrogen and chlorine. RHS manganese, don't write oxygen here or hydrogen or chlorine. Okay, I had thought that the same elements will be on the row, one line. On LHS and RHS same elements will be placed. Mn, oxygen, hydrogen, chlorine. Okay, now the number of atoms of manganese is 1 on LHS and that of oxygen is 2. And hydrogen is 1, chlorine is 1. Hydrogen 1 hydrogen, 1 chlorine, no 2, no 3, no any. So LHS, the number of the manganese is 1. So manganese is 1, oxygen is 1 and hydrogen is 2, chlorine is 2 and 2 4, total 4 of chlorine. How to balance it? Manganese is balanced, oxygen is not balanced. Oxygen is not balanced. Now the number of atom of oxygen is 2 on LHS, RHS only 1. So we have to multiply this one by 2. Now it became 2. Here this multiplication of oxygen is here. Oxygen here 2 is multiplied as a coefficient. So 2 atom of oxygen on RHS and 2 atom of oxygen on LHS. Oxygen is balanced. Again 2 into 2 is equal to 4 hydrogen. Okay, here 4 atoms of hydrogen. Here only 1 atom. Here became 4 atoms of hydrogen. 1 atom of hydrogen. So we have to multiply this 1 into 4. So it will become 4. Here 4. 4 atom of hydrogen. Now chlorine became 4 chlorine, and here is also 4 chlorine. It is also multiplied by 4 and it became 4. Why it is multiplied by 4? 4 into hydrogen, then 4 also is multiplied with chlorine, and chlorine became 4 atom of chlorine. Okay, 4 molecule of chlorine. Now total 4 atom of chlorine. Here is also 4. It is 4 hydrogen. Here is also 4. 2 oxygen, 2, 1 manganese and 1 manganese. So the equation is balanced. This chemical equation is balanced. Understood? Let's take one more example. KClO3. It forms which type of reaction is this? Decomposition reaction. KClO3 has been decomposed into KCl and O2. Okay. Now LHS, RHS. LHS, it is potassium, chlorine and oxygen. Okay. RHS, it is potassium, chlorine and oxygen. Now what is the number of atoms? Potassium on LHS 1, chlorine 1, oxygen 3. Here 1 potassium, chlorine is also 1, and oxygen is 2. We have to balance oxygen. Okay, so what do we do? 3 oxygen, 2 oxygen. Okay, so what should we do? Here potassium and chlorine is balanced. Potassium and chlorine are balanced, but oxygen is not balanced. Oxygen, let's 3 atom of oxygen on LHS and 2 atom of oxygen on RHS, and let's multiply these 2 by 3. Okay, 2 into 3 is equal to 6. Let's make it 6 number of atoms of oxygen on RHS. Here 6 oxygen, here 3 oxygen, so it has to be multiplied with 2. It will become 6. 2 multiplied now on LHS. 3, don't multiply 2. We have to add 2 as a coefficient. Okay, 2 is added as coefficient and it became 2 into 3 is equal to 6. 6 atom of oxygen. Now potassium became 2 and chlorine also became 2 atom of chlorine. So here 1 is potassium is multiplied to, sorry, yeah, of course, yeah, 1 into 2 is equal to 2 atom of chlorine. Also potassium 2, here is also 2, it is well multiplied with 2, it is also multiplied with 2, and it now the equation is balanced. Okay, it is a balanced chemical equation. Now let us take one more example of chemical equation. It is HNO3 nitric acid plus CaOH whole 2. It forms CaNO3 whole 2 plus H2O. Okay. Now HNO3, writing the LHS and RHS. Number of elements hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, calcium, oxygen and hydrogen happen. RHS, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen and calcium. The number of elements 1, 2, 2 and 1, 3. On LHS, number of atoms of hydrogen. Here only 2 atoms of hydrogen. Now nitrogen only 1. So guys, now this is a reaction, something complex. Okay, so according to the rules we should have start from metals, then after we have to start from non-metals. We start balancing the number of atoms of metal on both the sides, then after we start from non-metal. Here metal seems not easy to be balanced, that's why we are starting from nitrogen. Okay, let's take nitrogen is 1, here nitrogen is 2 nitrogen, then we have to multiply this 1 with 2. Okay, so 1 into 2 nitrogen on LHS, so 2 atom of nitrogen. Okay, now this 2 is also multiplied with hydrogen and oxygen. Now the number of atom of nitrogen is 2 and balanced, but hydrogen 2 in hydrogen and 2 hydrogen, total 4 hydrogen. It has become 4 hydrogen, and on RHS 2 hydrogen. So we have to multiply this hydrogen, this 2 with 2, it will become 4. We have multiplied with 2 as a coefficient. Now this 2 is also multiplied with oxygen, and oxygen has 2 atom in 2 atom of oxygen here, and 3 into 2 is equal to 6 atom of oxygen here. So 6 and 2, total 8 oxygen on RHS, and LHS 2 into 3 is equal to 6 oxygen and 2 oxygen here, total 8 oxygen. Okay, now it has become 8 oxygen on LHS and 8 oxygen on RHS. Oxygen 8 atom balanced on both the sides, nitrogen is balanced, hydrogen is balanced. Okay, now which element is left? Calcium. Calcium is 1. Calcium is also balanced, means this equation is balanced. Okay, so guys, it is my first video I am making. Hope you have enjoyed. If not, comment it. I will take care in my next video. Okay, and I'll try to make something better than this. Okay, bye. Guys, you have clearly observed in this chemical equation. Now in this table it is represented the number of atoms on LHS and the number of atoms on RHS of these elements participating in this reaction. So the elements are zinc, hydrogen, sulfur and oxygen. You can see in this table that number of atoms of zinc is 1. We are observing the reactant part. The number of atoms in of hydrogen is 2 and the number of sulfur is 1. Now observe the number of atoms in product side. Zinc has the number of atoms 1 and the number of atoms 1 is also in reactant. So clearly you can observe in this table that the number of atoms of each element on both the sides are equal. So here written as the number of atoms of each element is the same on both sides of the arrow. That's why equation 1.3 is a balanced chemical equation. Okay, so let's try to balance the following chemical equation: Fe plus H2O arrowhead Fe3O4 plus H2. Now we are gonna to learn these reactions, how to balance these chemical reactions in the next page. Okay. So guys, this is the most important part of this chapter and also important in this subject, how to balance a chemical equation. It is frequently asked in the board exam. Either 3 or 5 marks question are asked. So these are the steps: step 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. There may be many steps to balance a chemical equation, more than these. So start. I have taught you how to balance a chemical equation on the paper. Now let's surface touch watch on it. To balance a chemical equation, the first draw boxes around each formula. Do not change anything inside the boxes while balancing the equation. Why it is written here? You will make the box of each element or each compound on both the sides. Then you cannot add any number inside that box. It is clearly known here. Okay, means you don't have to put any number to balance the chemical equation inside the box. Now step 2, list the number of atoms of different elements present in the unbalanced equation. If these table tell us about the unbalanced chemical equation of the above chemical equation, the element ferrum, the number of atom is 1 in reactant and that is 3 in product side. Means only the hydrogen element is balanced in the above reaction. Neither ferrum nor oxygen is balanced. So step 3, it is often convenient to start balancing with the compound that contains the maximum number of atoms. It may be a reactant or a product. In that compound, select the elements which has the maximum number of atoms. It means it is saying about that the most convenient way to balance a chemical equation is start from that molecule, start from the complex molecule, because there you will come to know how many number of elements are present there and how many elements we have to balance. Okay, and this complex molecule may be in the reactant part or in the product part. You have to observe that. Okay, so using this criteria we select Fe3O4. Fe3O4 here is a complex molecule in comparison with the other compounds and elements in the reactant and product side. So Fe3O4 and the element oxygen in it, there are 4 oxygen atoms in the RHS and only 1 in the LHS. You can see it in the table. To balance the oxygen atoms, it is not required to make it in study, because I have taught you it in the paper work, that how to balance the number of atoms of the elements on both the sides. Just take a watch. Atoms of oxygen initial 1 and in reactant 1, in product 4. To balance 1 into 4 is equal to 4, then both the sides 4 atoms present. To equalize the number of atoms, it must be remembered that we cannot alter the formula of the compound or elements involved in the reaction. For example, to balance oxygen atoms, we can put coefficient 4 as 4H2O and not H2O4. What does this paragraph tell us about? This paragraph tells us about that we cannot put any number inside the box. The first step is written in this paragraph. Okay, so if you want to balance oxygen atom, then we can only put the coefficient 4, that is H2O, and 4 is added as a coefficient you know in math. Okay, not H2O4. Okay, if you do only for 4 atom of oxygen in the product and 1 atom in reactant, then make H2O4, it will not happen. Okay, So in the above reaction, you can clearly see here that Fe plus 4H2O, and it forms Fe3O4 plus H2. Here you are watching here that 4H2O, not H2O4. Okay, so the number is added as a coefficient in the molecules in reactant and product side. It is partly balanced equation, not fully. Now step 4. Fe and H atoms are still not balanced. Pick any of these elements to proceed further. Let us balance hydrogen atom in the partly balanced equation. Oxygen is balanced. Okay. Now hydrogen is not balanced. In the reactant part, you are observing eight atoms of hydrogen, and in the product part, there is 2 atoms of hydrogen. To equalize the number of hydrogen atom, make the number of molecules of hydrogen as 4 on the RHS. Okay, written here. Now in this table, watch in this table, what is written? Atoms of hydrogen initial, in reactants 8. Yeah, here you can see 4H2O means 8 hydrogen. Now, so in product 2 into H2, 2 in H2. 2 in H2 means only 2 atom is in hydrogen in product part or RHS. To balance, in reactant there is 8 atom present. In product we have to multiply 2 into 4. Okay, 2 into 4, yeah, or you can write it 4 into 2. 4 into 2, not 2 into 4. Okay, 4 into 2, then it will become 8 atoms. So here you can observe that 4 atoms, 4 number is taken as coefficient of hydrogen molecule, okay, in product part. And now hydrogen is balanced. Okay, oxygen is balanced, hydrogen is balanced. It is also partly balanced, not fully balanced equation, because oxygen and hydrogen is balanced, but ferrum, iron, is not balanced here. Understood? So we will balance in the next page. Step 5. The above equation pick the third element which is not balanced, that is ferrum is not balanced. Watch in this Watch in this table. Atom of iron initial 1, in product 3, Fe3O4, 3 atoms of here Fe3O4 means 3 atom of ferrum in product and 1 atom of ferrum in reactant. So to balance it, we have to multiply 1 into 3, then it will become 3 into 3 number of atom in reactants and 3 number of 3 atoms in product side. To equalize ferrum, we take 3 atoms of ferrum on the RHS, that is 3 into Fe plus 4H2O, arrowhead towards Fe3O4 plus 4H2. Okay, now just check it whether the number of elements are balanced or not. Okay, number of atoms in the elements are balanced or not. 3 Fe, Fe3, 4H2 means 8 hydrogen in reactant, also 8 atoms of hydrogen in product side, 4 atoms of oxygen in reactant, and 4 atoms of oxygen in product. Finally, to check the correctness of the balanced equation is step 6. Okay, we have checked and we know that this is a balanced chemical equation. Okay, so guys, writing symbols of physical state, what does it imply? Writing symbols of physical state, it is the last step to balance a chemical equation. Means we have to mention whether the elements or compounds are in which physical state, whether they are solid, liquid, gas, or in aqueous form. So to represent or to inform about these compounds, we usually indicate L, G, AQ, and S for solid, liquid, gas, and aqueous physical state of the compounds or elements participating in this reaction. Okay, so here written, to in the second paragraph it is written here, to make a chemical equation more informative, the physical states of the reactants and products are mentioned along with their chemical formula. Okay, so let's come here in this reaction. Balanced chemical equation: 3FeS in bracket S plus 4H2O in bracket G, arrowhead, Fe3O4 under bracket S plus 4H2 G. Here S, G, S, G are not the elements. These are the physical state of the elements or compounds. Okay. 3FeS, S stands for solid, means iron is in solid form. 4H2O, G, G means gas, means water is in gaseous form. And when water becomes in gaseous form, when it is in the form of a steam, means what very steam is taken here to start or initiate the reaction. Now Fe3O4 solid, 4H2O, 4H2 gas, hydrogen gas liberated in the reaction. Okay, the symbol G is used for with H2O to indicate that in this reaction water is used in the form of steam. Okay. Yes, usually physical state are not included in a chemical equation unless it is necessary to specify them. Yeah, written here. When it is asked in the exam that you have to specify the physical state of the reactants or products, then you have to mention S, L, G, AQ on your copy, on your notebook. Okay. Otherwise not required, then no need to mention it. Usually physical state are not included. Sorry, sometimes the reaction conditions such as temperature, pressure, catalyst, etc. for the reaction are indicated above or below the arrow in the equation. What does this paragraph tell us about? This paragraph tells us about the physical conditions also required for the reaction. To start or initiate any chemical reactions, these are the conditions, physical conditions: temperature, pressure, catalyst, promoter. These are the required factors, okay, for a reaction. So take an example. First example, CO plus 2H2. Arrowhead 340 atm, it forms CS3OH. CO, carbon monoxide gas, G written gas. 2H2 hydrogen gas, G. 340 atm, what is it? 340 atm means 340 atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure is required to initiate this reaction. Then we will get methanol. CH3OH stands for methanol. Okay, CH3OH, it is a liquid, it is an alcohol, and it is named methanol. Okay, so again it is not balanced in the first reaction. So it is balanced. Now we are taking another example, 6CO2 plus 6H2O in the in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, we get C6H12O6 aqueous plus 6O2 aqueous. Okay, so you have watched it in previous classes in 7 standard. It is what do you understand through this reaction? What type of reaction is this? In which topic you have seen this reaction? Photosynthesis. Okay. In photosynthesis, the green leaves make their own food sun, using water and minerals from the ground and carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. In presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, it forms it make its food, that is glucose, and its formula is C6H12O6 aqueous form, and it liberate O2, oxygen gas is released, okay, in the atmosphere by the green leaves of the plants. So now using these steps, can you have to balance the chemical equations in the earlier pages. Okay, now these are the questions you have in text questions. You have to solve these questions. I will make one another video explaining the answers of these questions. Okay, you will get easy and understand well the question answers, and it will be easy for you to understand and remember these answers for the exams. So I will make one another video only for in text and textbook questions. Okay, so let's come to the next topic, that is types of chemical reaction. Now our chapters, the types of chemical reactions. What are the types of chemical reaction? So what are the types of chemical reaction? Combination reaction. Okay, two elements or compounds combine to form new compounds, that is combination reaction. Then after decomposition reaction, one compound breaks into two elements or compounds. Okay, then after displacement reaction, more reactive elements displaces less reactive elements. Okay, and then after double displacement reaction, precipitation reaction, two compounds exchange their ions to form new compounds. Also we will study redox reaction, oxidation reaction and reduction reaction. Okay, okay, so types of chemical reactions. Now the magic starts. Why do we tell it a magic? Because what is magic? Magic means two things are taken, and by twisting hands in it we make new stuff. That's magic. Means new substance is formed. Chemical reactions, atoms of one element do not change into those of another element. Actually what happens here, chemical reaction involves in breaking and making of the bonds between atoms to produce new substance. Okay, so no any atoms or ions are disappeared in a chemical reaction. Actually they combine or they break their bonds to make the new substance. That is a chemical reaction. So the first reaction is combination reaction. Okay, what is for combination reaction? Combination reaction, the name itself states that combination means combining. When two elements or two compounds are combined and they form a new substance, they are combination reaction. Okay, for example, calcium oxide reacts vigorously with water to produce like lime, that is calcium hydroxide, release a large amount of heat. Okay, CaO stands for quicklime, that is calcium oxide. H2O stands for water. When it is mixed, then COH2 is formed, that is like lime. This is combination reaction. Combination of calcium oxide and water. Okay, you might have seen it in villages in Diwali time. Okay, when what is called, that is chuna. Okay, in this reaction, calcium oxide and water combines to form a single product, calcium hydroxide. Such a reaction in which a single product is found from two or more reactants is known as a combination reaction. When a single product is formed by the combination of two or more reactants, then it is called a combination reaction. Okay, some more examples are taken here. C plus O2, CO2, 2H2 plus O2, 2H2O. Okay, CH4 plus 2O2. What is an example? Also 2Mg plus O2, 2MgO, CaO plus H2O, CaOH whole 2 plus heat is released. N2 plus 3H2, nitrogen combines with hydrogen forms ammonia, that is 2NH3. H2 plus Cl2, 2HCl, 2H2 plus O2, 2H2O, C plus O2, CO2. These are balanced chemical reactions. Okay, and these are the examples of combination reaction, when two elements or compounds combine to form new compound. Okay, so we have observed that a large amount of heat is evolved. In some reactions, heat is liberated, heat is evolved. Take an example of calcium oxide reacts with water and forms calcium hydroxide, and heat is evolved. So respiration is also an example of exothermic reaction. In the reaction when heat is evolved, this type of reaction is known as exothermic reaction. You have studied in previous classes endothermic reaction and exothermic reaction. When carbon reacts with oxygen forms carbon monoxide, that is endothermic reaction, and when carbon reacts with oxygen forms carbon dioxide, that is exothermic reaction. Exothermic reaction means heat is evolved, heat is released. Okay, when we respire, you take your hands near your nose and breathe out. Okay, exhale, you will feel something when you are tired or when you are running, and then you will breathe out and take your hand near to your nose. You will feel some hotness on your hand. It means respiration is an exothermic reaction. Okay, other examples of exothermic reactions are burning of natural gas, CH4 plus 2O2, CO2 plus 2H2O, charcoal, CH4. Okay, sorry, it is a natural gas, CH4, known as methane. When methane reacts with oxygen, it forms carbon dioxide and water is liberated. Respiration is also an exothermic reaction because firstly we know that we need energy to live, and we get this energy from the food we eat. During digestion, food is broken down into a simpler substance. For example, rice, potatoes, bread contains carbohydrates. These carbohydrates are broken down to form glucose. What do we eat? All the food are required. After its digestion, we get energy. Then what does this food contain? We have studied that we get protein, fat, vitamin, carbohydrates from the food we eat, and these carbohydrates are broken into simpler molecules that are called glucose, and this glucose combines with oxygen in the cell of our body and provides us energy. Okay, so the special name of this reaction is respiration. The process of respiration you will study in the sixth chapter, that is life processes. The representation of respiration. Okay, respiration this is the representation of the energy released, energy generated in our body. When the glucose combines with oxygen, it forms carbon dioxide and water and energy. Carbon dioxide and water are ejected out from our body. Okay, and energy is utilized to work. The decomposition of vegetable matter into compost is also an example of an exothermic reaction. Okay, so these are the types of reaction. Heat is given out along with the formation of a single product. Now decomposition reaction. The name itself states about its properties. Decomposition means get decomposed, breaks down, means it is segregated, separated. When a complex molecule is breaks down into simpler molecules, then this is known as decomposition reaction. Okay, green color of ferrous sulfate crystal has changed. Take an example of activity 1.5 states about the decomposition of ferrous sulfate. Ferrous sulfate is a chemical substance in which ferrous sulfate is a complex molecule, and it is when heated in a test tube, then it forms Fe2O3. Here it is written Fe2O3 in solid form plus SO2 in gaseous form and SO3 in gaseous form. Fe2O3 is ferric oxide, SO2 is sulfur dioxide, and SO3 is sulfur trioxide. Okay, so these three compounds are formed when FeSO4 is heated. Okay, so this is known as a decomposition reaction. Okay, here this is a ferrous sulfate. Sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide are toxic gases. So there you observed that how ferrous sulfate decomposes into ferric oxide, sulfur dioxide, and sulfur trioxide. Okay. In the above reaction, a single reactant breaks down to give simpler products. This is a decomposition reaction. See, ferrous sulfate crystal Fe2SO, FeSO4 7H2O, 7H2O by crystalline form of sulfur. Okay, water crystallization of sulfur, ferrous sulfate. Loose water when heated and the color of the crystal changes. It then decomposes to ferric oxide, sulfur dioxide, and sulfur trioxide. Ferric oxide is a solid, while SO2 and SO3 are gases, and these are toxic gases. Decomposition of calcium carbonate to calcium oxide and carbon dioxide on heating is an important decomposition reaction used in various industries. Calcium oxide is also called quicklime, lime or quicklime. Okay, it has many uses. One is in the manufacture of cement. When a decomposition reaction is carried out by heating, it is called thermal decomposition. There are three types of decomposition reaction. The first is thermal decomposition. In thermal decomposition, when heat is provided to the reaction and the reaction initiates, then it is thermal decomposition. Thermal decomposition, CaCO3 when heated forms CaO plus CO2, and ZnCO3 when heated forms ZnO plus CO2 gas. Okay, this is thermal decomposition. Now electrical decomposition when electrolysis is done for the reaction, and then after the molecule breaks down into simpler molecules. For example, water. Okay, when water is heated, then it does not breaks down into hydrogen and oxygen. It still is in steam form, and steam is also H2O. But when we do electrical decomposition of water, then water breaks down into 2H2 plus O2. Okay, so electrolysis decomposition of water forms hydrogen and oxygen. The third is photochemical decomposition. Photochemical decomposition means when sunlight is used for the reaction, and these are the examples of photochemical decomposition. 2AgCl. 2AgCl means silver chloride. Silver chloride in presence of sunlight breaks down into silver and chlorine. 2Ag for silver and Cl2 stands for chlorine. Again 2AgBr, silver bromide. When in presence of sunlight, it breaks down into silver 2Ag and bromine Br2. Br2 is gas. Again 2AgI, silver iodide. In presence of sunlight, it breaks down into silver and iodine. Okay, so these three are examples of photochemical decomposition reaction. No, Another example of thermal decomposition reaction in activity 1.6. Here, silver ni- here lead nitrate is decomposed to liberate nitrogen dioxide. Okay, here it is the reaction. 2PbNO3, that is lead nitrate, when heated means thermal decomposition. 2PbNO3 is the reactant and it is the complex molecule. It is decomposed to form 2PbO, lead oxide, plus 4NO2, nitrogen dioxide, and O2, oxygen. So this is the molecule of lead nitrate, which breaks down into lead oxide, nitrogen dioxide, and oxygen. And here it is the activity. It is the activity of decomposition of lead nitrate. Okay, written here at the bottom of the test tube, lead nitrate is taken in and it is at the tip of the burner. It is taken, heat is provided, and nitrogen gas is liberated. Nitrogen dioxide gas is liberated in this figure. Okay, so this was the second example of thermal decomposition. Some more decomposition reaction, activity 1.7 and activity 1.8. Okay, electrolysis of water. What I have told, electrolysis of water. This is the electrolysis of water. Anode, cathode. So in the above example, in this figure you will clearly observe the decomposition of water into oxygen and hydrogen gases. Hmm. Here 6-volt battery is taken in a plastic mug, water is taken, anode and cathode arrangements of the electrodes, and then after the oxygen is liberated at the graphite rod through the graphite rod, and hydrogen gas is liberated through the carbon rod, and thus oxygen and hydrogen gas are separated in this electrolysis process. Okay, electrolysis of water. Now in activity 1.8, that is the decomposition of silver chloride. Silver chloride, you had seen in that previously, its example. In a china dish, silver chloride is taken, and through the window sunlight comes and it falls on the silver chloride chemical, and then the silver chloride will decompose into silver and chlorine. Okay, you will see that while silver chloride turns gray in sunlight, this is due to the decomposition of silver chloride into silver and chlorine by light. If possible, then you can take this example at home, if only possible. Okay, this is due to the decomposition of silver chloride into silver and chlorine by light. Silver bromide also behaves the same way. When you will keep silver bromide on the china dish and exposed to sunlight in front near the window, and when the sunlight will fall in this chemical, then silver bromide will convert into silver and bromine. Okay, the above reactions are used in black and white photography. Black and white photography in previous times and also present now, wherever photo black and white photography happens, then this silver bromide is taken. What forms of energy is causing this decomposition reaction? This is sunlight energy. Okay, in the form of heat, light, or electricity, or breaking down the reactants. Reaction in which energy is absorbed are known as endothermic reaction. Okay, so these are the endothermic reaction when heat is absorbed. Displacement reaction. Displacement reaction means highly reactive elements displaces the low reactive elements from its compounds. That is displacement reaction. Means more reactive elements, more powerful. It can quickly react with the compound, and it can displace the less reactive element from that compound. Okay, so guys, compare this displacement reaction with the real life examples. Suppose that a couple is sitting in the park in which the girl is beautiful and the boy is not so handsome. Then there came a strong, young, dashing, handsome man, and he befriended the fruit. Then the girl left with that strong man, and the boy is kept alone in the park. This is displacement reaction. Okay, it happens. So in this displacement reaction, it is an activity shown, activity 1.9, in which an iron nail is dipped in the copper sulfate solution. Here you can in the activity that in this test tube, two iron nail is dipped in the copper sulfate solution, that is blue color solution, and then after sometimes you will watch that the color of the solution will change into green. Okay, let us see in a video. So guys, this is copper sulfate solution in the flask. Okay, conical flask. It is iron nail. Iron nail is dipped in the copper sulfate solution, and it is tied with a string in the stand. Then after 24 hours, you will observe that the color of the solution is turned into green. Copper sulfate solution. Now this is not copper sulfate solution, it is ferrous sulfate solution. Okay, solution before reaction and the solution after reaction. Copper is displaced and FeSO4 is formed. Okay, so in the above reaction, the iron nail displaces copper from copper sulfate solution. Here is the reaction, you can see it. Fe solid plus CuSO4 aqueous copper sulfate forms FeSO4 plus Cu. Cu is displaced and FeSO4 is combined. Okay, the bond between CuSO4 is broken and the bond between Fe and SO4 is formed, and it forms FeSO4 and Cu is left alone in the park. Understood? Iron nail. Iron nail taken out from the copper sulfate solution. Your iron nail will appear like this. Okay, something reddish. Iron nail will look like reddish color after the reaction takes place. Copper sulfate solution test tube A, test tube stands, reaction mixture test tube B. Okay, so in this activity you have watched that the copper sulfate solution is displaced by iron nail and iron sulfate is formed after the reaction. Okay, in this reaction iron has displaced or removed another element copper from copper sulfate solution. This reaction is known as displacement reaction. Other example of displacement reactions are Zn plus CuSO4 aqueous, ZnSO4 plus Cu, copper sulfate. Zinc combines with sulfate and forms zinc sulfate, and Cu is left alone. Cu is displaced. In second example, Pb, plumbum, that is lead. Okay, lead, कांच बोलते हैं. So Pb combines with CuCl2, it reacts with CuCl2 and it forms PbCl2 plus Cu. PbCl2 is the new substance formed after the reaction and Cu is displaced in this reaction. So this is known as displacement reaction. Okay. Some more examples. Here are some more examples. Zn plus 2HCl, ZnCl2 plus H2. More reactive elements displaces less reactive elements. Zn plus H2SO4, ZnSO4 plus H2. Okay. Cu plus 2AgNO3, it forms CuNO3 whole 2 plus 2Ag aqueous. Fe plus CuSO4 forms FeSO4 plus Cu. Zn plus FeSO4 forms ZnSO4 plus Fe. Zinc combines with ferrum sulfate, it forms zinc sulfate plus ferrum. Cl2 plus 2Ki forms 2KCl plus I2. Okay, it means Cl2 plus 2KBr, it forms 2KCl plus Br2. These are the examples of the displacement reaction. So the question arises here that how to know that which element will displaces which element. It means which element is more reactive than which element is less reactive. So here is the answer of your question. Here is the answer of your question. In this series, reactivity series, okay, reactivity series will tell us about that which element is more reactive and which element is less reactive, which element will displaces which element in its reaction. Okay, in displacement reaction, this reactivity series is must required, must important. You have to remember this reactivity series, only then after you can balance the displacement reaction. Okay, if any question is asked in the exam how to balance this displacement reaction, then after knowing this reactivity series, you can do it. Potassium is more reactive than sodium, calcium is more reactive than magnesium, magnesium is more reactive than aluminium. It means most reactive element is potassium, then after reactivity decreases, and the least reactive element is gold, means the ugly person. It does not combine or it does not make any bond with anyone. No one likes gold. It doesn't have any spark, so it doesn't make any friend. It doesn't participate in any reaction. It does not make any bond with any element or any ion. Okay, normally in some specific condition it can combine and it can form, silver can form its compounds, but in normal conditions, normal physical condition, they do not participate in any reaction. That's why they are least reactive elements, and the most highly reactive elements are potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium. Okay, then the reactivity decreases. Now ferrum, iron is more reactive than copper. Below ferrum, that is plumbum, lead. Below plumbum, that is hydrogen, and below hydrogen, that is copper. Means iron is more reactive than copper. That's why iron had displaced copper from copper sulfate solution.